Then we should ask any questions.
I find this fascinating to think of 13 out of the 70. If you look at the 13, have you explored if they felt the sound was successful in either selling more product or creating, not just about the product, but I think it's about enhancing that shopping experience. I work for an office technology company. We produce printers and copiers and other office equipment that you don't really care about touching, but I can see the use of sound as creating an online experience to do your shopping, even though it's not about listening to the machine running or whatever it is. So I guess those 13, and you started to look at whether sound is increase the success of their products versus the others.
Yes, absolutely. This is the first question that business should themselves, because of course cost-benefit analysis. Now, yes, there are products, as you say, the printers and computers, maybe. Well, actually, thinking properly, if you can, I don't know if you remember the older printers, because they were mechanical, really. They were very noisy. Nowadays, they're not so noisy. Also, the computers are very sophisticated nowadays. The fans and the small engines that are there for floppy disks and so on, they're very sophisticated and they're very, very quiet nowadays. For example, the sound, it's a typical feature of laptop. People like also not noisy laptop. So it looks okay. We didn't find out, now to go back to your question, we didn't find out about if the sound increases sales or if there was a correlation between the two, which I believe it is one of the purposes why exactly the retailers online would do it. We wanted only to explore the sound we wanted, let's say, to give a snapshot and to raise this question to understand possibly in the future. Yes, I think one of the purposes of the future study will be to understand, first of all, also to ask users what they think about it. We didn't ask users, for example. We didn't ask prospective customers. We didn't ask potential customers. We didn't think about, for example, if sound increase loyalty, whatever, and so on. We wanted just only at the moment to have a snapshot in order for us to start continuing forward in terms of raising other questions and then maybe proposing some future research. But I think, yes, we can raise plenty of questions of this type, and one of these one definitely would be the question that the business would put, saying before, exactly before I employ people or I spend £500,000 on it, on a project of this type. Let me know how much I would increase, or if there is a correlation between, of course, absolutely. Yeah.
I would love to see that, because I can see the financial people asking that.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I think that's an intuitive. It's hard to put your finger on, oh, it's because of sound, or because of that experience. It's so subtle, and it's so deep within being a human, that I don't know if it was a yuck sound, brought sales up 15%, but I think it's very powerful. I never thought about that. I think if I heard the crunch of an apple, or the sound of a biscuit, or if I can't smell the coffee, I can still create a coffee experience anyway.
Yes, exactly.
So it's fascinating.
Yes, exactly, the coffee. There are plenty of other attributes of products that because we're in constantly contact with the products, we don't pay attention. That's the problem. If you think how much, for example, yourself, you come in contact with the products whilst cooking, there is a constant in and out, let's say it's called data, whatever, between yourself and the product, that we don't think then when we're doing it. But when we have to propose a product online, where people cannot touch, cannot experience, cannot do it anything, at a point we can raise some questions and making also the experience a little bit more enjoyable, I suppose. Or at least to address some of the limitations. Yes, yes. Yes, one of the purposes of usability was exactly this one, not to use the sound because sound distracts the users and so on. But this has been one of the first, let's say the first internet that we noticed it and we had, so that we thought the internet was going to be only text. So Jacob Nielsen told us usability should be text, and people want only a piece of text, whatever. But maybe I think it would be interesting for you just to, I don't know if you visit these websites, the older website and the clavier. Yes, of course, it depends on the designer able to engage the user, because the sound can seriously become monotonous, can seriously become annoying, boring, if it's not, let's say, linked with a nice multimedia pictures and so on. So let's say has to engaged. The internet has proposed us the sound as a background, as a sort of a loop going there constantly. So for this one, we always discard. We say, don't put the sound online because it will be monotonous. But if it's created properly, I think there are these two websites, Clavier and Onda, and they think, I think they've achieved a good balance between what you can achieve with the sound, in order not to bore, in order not to annoy a user, but to engage the user. For example, sound in order to promote the image of a brand. It's not used a lot, it's not used online, actually it's not used at all. And this maybe could be other ways too.